Hey everyone, this is Ranger Kyle with Beavers County Active Living and Parks. We're back here at the wetland at Rob Wallace Park, and today we're talking about another reason that wetlands are becoming endangered habitats. It has everything to do with the beaver. And we'll talk a bit more later about why beavers aren't as common as they used to be in North America. But first, we're answering the question, why do beavers create wetlands in the first place? They're actually remarkable in their ability to change the habitat to suit their needs. Outside of beavers, we as humans are one of the only species that can change the environment to suit our needs, and for that reason a lot of Native American tribes called beavers little people, and they were very right in that. So beavers create wetlands primarily to avoid predation. Predators around here like coyotes or even bobcats can move very fast on land, but they're not that agile in the water. The beaver, not so much. If you see a beaver on land, they look about as awkward as I do in these waders. They're very awkward on land, but in the water they're quite agile and they can move very quickly. So they create wetlands to move around better and to be safe. They'll actually create lodges on the edge of a wetland, and the entrance to that lodge will be under the water so that predators can't get into it. And the top is so sturdy that predators cannot break in either. Another way that beavers will modify their habitat to their needs has to do with their food choice. Animals don't generally like to forage in the open. It can be dangerous to spend a lot of time exposed to predators eating food. And this right here is one of the preferred food sources of beavers. This is a tree. Beavers like to eat the soft part of trees, but they like to bring them back to their lodge to eat. And as you can imagine, it'd be kind of hard for me to move this for long distances over land, and it'd even be harder for a small beaver to do it. So what they do is they'll create canals leading out from the wetland onto land, right up to a tree that they've cut down. And then, rather than carrying it all the way on land and being exposed to coyotes that whole time, they can just very quickly move it in the water, as you can see there. So the first part of this whole wetland building process has to do with the lodge with the underwater entrance. Beavers are very adamant about raising their pups in that lodge, and if they have access to deep rivers, they'll just build it into the side of the bank and call it a day, and that's good. But for younger beavers especially, who can't compete for that prime real estate, they have to make do with smaller streams, which are rarely deep enough. But what they can do is they can make the stream deep enough. And what they do is something that we do, which is they build dams. So they'll take a tree and they'll lay it across a creek. Anywhere they hear running water, in fact. Running water is the catalyst to this whole process. They'll put a log across the stream and then they'll just build up from there. Once beavers have their log across the stream, they can start adding. They'll add small sticks and mud, and they'll get that nearly watertight so that water can't flow through as well. And what happens then is that the water upstream of that dam gets clogged up and it forms a deeper body of water, which they prefer. And then, of course, you have the start of a wetland. So how are beavers able to cut down trees? It has everything to do with their teeth. We have a beaver skull here, and as you can see, they have these orange teeth. It kind of looks like they're unclean, but what's really going on is that their enamel is coated with iron, and that makes the front part very strong. And as you can see, the back side of their teeth aren't coated with that iron, and so when they're chewing this hard wood, this eventually wears away, whereas this side doesn't, and that creates a sharp shape, kind of like scissors. And they use that to chew wood and to knock trees over. Why aren't beavers as common as they were in the past? Before Columbus ever set foot in North America, there was about 100 million beavers, and now there's only 1/10 of that, about 10 million beavers. And it has everything to do with their fur. So beaver fur was very prized by early American settlers because it's well insulated and it's water resistant as well, and so it made good hats and coats and stuff, and so it was very profitable to hunt beavers and acquire their fur. And after American settlers pretty much depleted all of the beavers from the eastern states, they had to move out west to California, and that's actually one of the biggest reasons why American settlers first settled California at all, was to find more beavers. Eventually beavers did rebound from that initial depletion, but there's still not as many as there once were. Even the beavers that do live here now, we don't really allow them to create the wetland habitats because it floods roads and it ruins property and that kind of thing. So as beaver populations declined over history, so too did their wetland habitats, and that's why it's all the more important than ever to try and preserve wetlands. And in a future episode of Nature's Corner, we'll talk about a little bit of what we're doing at Rob Wallace to help preserve wetlands and the plants and animals that depend upon them. So we'll see you then.